Before podcasts, YouTube, or streaming, there was a moment when one voice could stop the country. And that didn't happen by accident.
I am Black Success.
Welcome back to the I Am Black Success podcast. I'm Steve Hart, founder and host of the show, and we're continuing all month long our celebration of Black History Month and our 10th year anniversary. Today is day 4 of 28 in our Black History Month series focused on Black trailblazers in business. Now, this isn't a history lesson. It's a business lesson rooted in our history. So let's talk about today's featured trailblazer, Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Gail Winfrey was born in January of 1954 in rural Mississippi. She was raised in poverty by a teenage mom, endured hardship and abuse at a really young age, and spent much of her childhood moving between homes. That instability shaped how she saw people, how she saw pain and connection. Now, we all know Oprah, but something that might get overlooked is that from a very young age, she learned how to speak in public, whether that was church readings, public recitals, and just learning to stand in front of adults and hold their attention. And what people later called presence was something she developed early, partly out of a necessity. Communication became a way for her to survive, to be seen, and eventually to lead. Now, as she got older, that ability began to open new doors. She moved into radio, then television, eventually news. And from the outside, it looked like success. She's visible, she's advancing, she's doing what many people hoped to be able to do. But Oprah has talked openly about struggling in traditional news. Her style was too empathetic and emotional. She was too connected to the people in these stories she was covering. And so instead of being rewarded, she was pushed aside. That moment, it made me think, right? How many of us have experienced being good at something, but not being good the way the system preferred that we were? So what looked like a setback ended up becoming the pivot, because the thing that didn't fit in news became the foundation of talk television. When the Oprah Winfrey show launches, it's not positioned as revolutionary. It's just another talk show in a crowded field. But Oprah makes a very intentional choice. She decides to prioritize and center people, not just the celebrities or influencers of that day, but she focused on the real stories, the real emotion and vulnerability. And audiences responded because she wasn't putting on a performance, she was genuinely present. And that built trust. And that trust, it changed everything. Now, here's where the business story really takes shape. Most people would stop at being the host. Oprah did not. She formed Harpo Productions and made a move that quietly changed her trajectory. She didn't just appear on the show. She was working towards owning the production of it. That meant controlling the content, the process, and the distribution. She didn't just sit in the chair. She owned the room. And it's interesting how this echoes what we saw with John H. Johnson just yesterday. Different medium, same principle. When you own the platform, you shape the narrative. So from there, her empire expands. We're talking books, film, magazine, television, media network. When Oprah recommended a book, it was almost an instant bestseller. When she sits with someone for an interview, the entire world listened. Not simply because she was famous, but because she was trusted. And trust in business is the most valuable currency there is. Oprah also understood that influence without impact is incomplete. Oprah reinvested heavily in education, philanthropy, and community, including scholarships in the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls. Ownership gave her the ability to give back on her terms. And so here's today's Mission Fuel lesson as I reflect on Oprah Winfrey's story and her journey. Visibility without control is fragile. We can be seen everywhere and still own nothing. Oprah understood that attention is rented, but ownership is built. So she made ownership the priority. And that prioritization led her from poverty to a net worth today in excess of $3.2 billion. So here's my actionable as we wrap things up. Take a few minutes and I want you to answer these questions honestly. Number 1, where are you visible right now but don't feel that you're in control? Number 2, what platform gives you attention but no leverage? And lastly, number 3, what is one small step you can take this week to build something that you own? That could be an email list, a community, a product, a repeatable offer. Give that some thought. One step is enough to start. So when you think of Oprah, I hope that you're reminded that you don't need to be everywhere, but you do need to be in control of somewhere. Look, Black history is not just something we should honor, it is something I believe we must begin to apply. Join me tomorrow as we talk about a man who turned talent into a system and culture into a machine. We'll learn from the legendary trailblazer, Barry Gordy. I'll see you tomorrow.